Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Ernie Chen Show live. We go live every Thursday with, as usual, on the Ernie Chen Show live, we only bring to you legends or legends to be. And of course, we have personalities, business leaders, and most importantly, we have the policymakers and people who have been there, done that, and of course, familiar faces, politicians. Today, I'm very honored and very excited and very happy because I've got another, not legend to be, but legend who has been there and going to become another round of legendary. And of course, I want to know, why is he now coming back out to the whole entire scene again in a very assertive, I would say a very dynamic manner again. It's always been very dynamic, but of course this time around is a whole different new ball game. So ladies and gentlemen, we have, if you've been watching and you know who this person is on screen right now, he is none the president of PPP, the People's Progressive Party, Tan Sri MKayveas. Ladies and gentlemen, give me a big round of applause and welcome him. Very good. Now, if you're just joining us over here, this man is something else. He's been in all sorts of trouble. He either is the troublemaker or he is the man who resolves problems and trouble. So today we will find out more about his past, his present, and his future plans, right? So if you just joined and watching the program right now, do share and let as many people know so that they can check out what Tan Sri MKayveas' plans are for PPP moving forward. Do share, tag, love, and ask whatever questions you have here live on the Ernie Chen Show so that more people will be able to know more about PPP, Tan Sri MKayveas, and also what his plans are moving forward in this Pakatan Harapan, Barisan Nasional, and PPP. So we want to know from his personal opinion. So do ask questions throughout the whole entire next 30 minutes over here. Tan Sri MKayveas, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yes, Ernie. Pleasure.
Very grateful and thankful that you are here today. And of course, reading and listening to the man on the media, on the news. And it's of course, most importantly, having him on my platform, on my show. And I can meet the person himself to talk to him.
Pleasure is mine.
Two parts of the show. First part, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You have to pick one of the 2 options so that our audience can get to know you better.
Okay.
Right. So first question will be nasi lemak or chicken rice?
Nasi lemak.
Nasi lemak, still a true Malaysian and very much a Malaysian who enjoys our nasi lemak. Second question, business or holiday?
Business.
Business. Is still very much of a business man, and let's see how far it goes there to the political side of things, right? Third and final question, friends or family?
Friends.
Friends. Friends is more important than family. Yeah. That's interesting. That's probably one of the first time. Can you elaborate as to why friends are more important than family?
Family is with you all the time.
Sure.
Right, wrong, good, bad. They are there all the time.
Sure.
Friends, you got to be very careful.
Okay.
I've made a lot of mistakes in my life because of friends.
Okay.
So I think you must give priority to the kind of friends you have and choose.
Okay.
So I think you're going to be very careful with friends. Family, they are there.
Sure.
They are there for you.
Sure.
We don't go wrong with
Sure.
family. Somehow or other, they're there.
Yeah, that's a very interesting answer. I've never heard from that direction and angle before. I did read a lot about betrayals, in the past and things like that, which we're going to get into a little bit more over here.
Yes.
Now, the whole idea is that the way you answer is like family is always going to be there, so you don't pick on family because they are there. It means to say we don't talk about them being important. They are really
need to
important.
pick your right friends.
You got to pick your right friends. And being so long in politics and so seasoned politician and being in the business environment, and yet you still get screwed by friends, right? Amazing. So it's interesting to know why all these things actually happen. Why do you think all these things happen? Why would friends want to screw you over the years?
Actually, I can extend from your question on friends. I noticed throughout my life, it's friendship which bring you to where you are.
Okay.
Let's say it could be business.
Sure.
It could be politics.
Sure.
It's through friendship you come and join together and you become a group.
Sure.
Then that friendship is the one which destroys what you build.
Okay.
And in politics, I learned something. Politicians pretend to be your friend.
Okay.
But they never want you to progress.
Okay.
They want to make sure that you don't progress, but they keep the friendship so that they keep you in control. So example, if I give you like Barisan Nasional.
Sure.
We've been in Barisan, we are founder members of Barisan Nasional.
Okay.
The PPP has got its own history.
Yep.
It ruled Perak from 69 to 74.
That's right.
And 74, we were one of the founder members of Barisan. In fact, it is the PPP-UMNO relationship in Perak which subsequently started with the Gerakan UMNO relationship in Penang,
Yep.
then the formation of Barisan Nasional.
That's right.
So from there you find Barisan Nasional kept themselves as a race-based party.
Okay.
But coming in as a coalition image giving to the public or
Yes.
Malaysians, you know. But behind them is Malays with UMNO,
That's right.
MCA with Chinese,
That's right.
MIC with Indians.
That's
so
right.
Party like PPP,
Yep.
where we have every Malaysian there.
In fact, it's one of the earlier multiracial
You know,
parties.
it's the first actually.
Yeah, there you go.
The first, 1953. So they don't let you survive.
Sure.
Because survival for a politician is his community or their own community, bring them up.
That's right.
And then they, you know, voice according to their religion or their community.
That's right.
And that's where the screw up comes in Malaysian politics. You know?
I see.
So along the way, you bring in friends. You think that friends will support you, believe in your policy,
Sure.
believe in your vision.
Sure.
Along the way, you realize that the betrayal comes in because friends join those people behind the scene who want to make sure that you don't progress.
Ah.
It has been always PPP was not allowed to progress, and someone like me was always stopped from becoming a cabinet minister.
Sure.
So that, you know, I'm always controversial, as you say.
But you were a deputy minister in the Prime Minister Department.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was. Yeah, but deputy ministers don't sit in the cabinet. Many people don't know
Sure.
that. Many deputy ministers are just kept aside.
Sure.
They just go and just don't get involved.
Probably the name PPP is a bit too strong, you know, Party Progressive, you know, People's Progressive Party.
Yeah,
With that word progressive, obviously people will feel threatened.
Yeah. And of course, the other problem is when you are sincere.
Sure.
Sincere in your friendship, sincere in your politics, sincere in your acts and actions and
Yep.
what you speak, you know.
Sure.
You are not wanted.
That's right.
You are actually outcast compared to the people who are playing ball together in politics.
Yeah, I mean, mass media itself, the mainstream media always paint you in a very, very bad light.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the reality, you know.
Because media, certain media are controlled by these politicians.
Of course, that's usually how it
So
works,
they want
right?
to make sure that you are on the bad light all the time.
That's right.
But public, you know, people who follow, they will know. They will actually know the truth, you know.
Sure.
Especially now, a lot of fake news.
Sure.
And a lot of news which is, people are now trying to sieve out. Is it correct? Is it not correct?
Sure.
Why some people make a certain statement, after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you come out new statements which they could have done it earlier. you
Sure.
know.
So for many years, you were kind of like hidden underneath the Barisan Nasional as a founding member of Barisan Nasional, but you
Yeah.
were under controlled by UMNO, MCA, MIC. And why did you not leave Barisan Nasional a lot earlier being in control?
Okay, very good question, Ernie. Let me answer you this. You know, you see, when we look backwards in Malaysia,
Sure.
you have the formation. You know, after while the British were here, we were before even independent. You can see somewhere around 1940, 46, 47, the emerging of the Chinese getting together and calling themselves Malaysian Chinese Association. All
Sure.
the associations got together.
Sure.
It was the same year, 46. MIC got together, Malaysian Indian Congress. They
That's
followed
right.
the Congress from India. And then you have UMNO. They wanted to unite the Malays. That's why
right.
it became United Malay National Organization.
That's right.
They took all the organizations, put together, unite the Malays. Per se, political party wasn't there. But it was something to go about how to come and achieve the independence. You know.
Sure.
Then 1953, emergence of PPP, as of course it started as Perak People's Party.
That's right.
Then changed to People's Progressive Party. That I made it even more national, you know,
Sure.
because it was more regional.
Sure.
The idea of these intellectuals who came in
Sure.
realized that people were forming association on race base. So these intellectuals, you know, and it's not just Sinivaskam brothers. There were Dr. Zakaria, Dr. Kamaruddin,
Sure.
there was Tan Teobo, there's a lot of people there.
Sure.
Many people in all walks of Malaysian life. They came in together and they said, most of them were lawyers and doctors.
Okay.
They said, let's help the poor.
Sure.
Let's be the voice of the community.
Sure.
Let's speak up for the downtrodden.
Sure.
Hawkers and
Sure.
these people. That's how the emergence of PPP came in. Then slowly it became an impression given that this is the political party. You know.
Sure.
Overnight you become a threat even before independence.
Sure.
1957 you become a threat.
Mm.
Down there, 10, 15 years down the line, 69, you are already holding a state. 69 to 75 as early as
Perak
that.
itself, yeah. That's right.
I'm still in school actually. People, they were running the state actually.
Sure.
Then the decision comes. Why an opposition group of people who've been so well supported by the people who wants a voice in a democratic society, or they want check and balance?
Sure.
Why do they want to suddenly join Barisan Nasional?
Sure.
Then if you look at history, the words spoken by SP Srinivasam, the late SP Srinivasam himself, let's look at the future of the country.
Okay.
If we do too much politicking, if we are going to fight politically all the time,
Sure.
disagree to everything, there's no future for the country.
Sure.
Let's be like a candle. Sometimes if you want to give light, you need to burn yourself.
Of course.
That is the decision PPP made to join Barisan Nasional.
Was that possibly the worst ever decision made by the party?
I think it was a good intention.
Sure.
But if you look at it in a selfish way for the party, and the leadership, that's the worst decision.
Yeah.
But I think the intention was very noble and very good. That
Sure.
for the future's sake, let's put our political differences aside. Let's come together and form. Just like how Pakatan
Sure.
came together and said,
Sure.
put the political differences aside, let's save the country or something
Sure.
like that, you know.
And I know because of that, they are trying to put their differences and trying to save the country. And now what you're trying to do, becoming the third force.
Now we see this way, okay. Now I see it this way. We were with BN. I'm a loyal guy, you know.
Yeah.
Loyalty is my priority.
Sure.
You know. When I give my word, is as good as gold. Doesn't matter the differences, mistakes we make along the way.
Sure.
But then we came together.
Sure.
It's like a family. We
Sure.
came together. Like I say, family is always there. Friends, what happens along the way, they fall out.
Sure.
They are weak in their mind. They can be influenced by outsiders. You can teach them anything which is wrong and they believe.
Power and money, right? Controls the mind.
Power
corrupts the
and
mind.
money and some influence, even you can convince them their own mother is not their mother.
Of course.
That's how politics, if you are not alert and focused, this is what happens.
Sure.
So what has happened, being loyal and being there and supportive. You know, I've been there supportive. You can see me everywhere without anything in return, you know. People were holding position and posts. They could do things, but they didn't do things.
Sure.
Finally, they feel people like us who could do things also unwanted because they want to have their own team.
Sure.
Right. Similarly, on this side, if you come back and see now, okay, a group of people came together to support, to correct the mistakes. Also, you can't correct because too much of politicking going on.
Sure.
Now you have a scenario of the old was not accepted, the new doesn't seem to be doing what they are supposed to set out to do.
Sure.
Now, people are now looking at what do we do next. I think there is a vacuum. There is a big vacuum there for a third force.
So is that the reason why now you are coming back out in a very big way? Because we foresee that. Because there are many schools of thoughts, right? As I said, the media paints you in a very bad light in many, many ways. They say, they say that you demanded for a position, but yet you didn't get, and then obviously because you didn't get, let's move PPP out. And because of that now, then Pakatan got in power. Negotiations did not get through, so therefore, hey, you know, there is a gap, there is an opportunity. Is that the game that is politics?
Let me correct this situation.
Sure.
This perception must be put correctly.
That's why you're here.
Barisan, when I became the president in 93,
Sure.
it was Tun Mahathir who was the prime minister.
That's right.
He had a vision. He's a very fair man.
Sure.
He had plans for everybody.
Sure.
It took me in 93, PPP was out of BN. From somewhere around 88 to 93, we were out of BN. We
Okay.
were suspended out of BN.
Sure.
93, when I came in as the president, I met him and he said, how long you need time to put this party in order? I said, I will need about 3 years.
Sure.
So in 1996, he came for our AGM. It took
Sure.
me 3 years to do the first AGM
Okay.
for PPP after all those 20 years of, what you can say, the party was as good as dead.
Sure.
But within that period, 93, 94, he gave a chance for us to come back to the BN. In
Okay.
94, he brought us back to
Sure.
the BN. In 96, before the AGM, he gave me a Datuk title,
Sure.
even without asking. He said,
Sure.
okay, you're president, I think you should carry this so that you can move on. Then he said, look, 95 election, I can't give you a seat because, there's not many seats. But don't worry, 99, we'll look at the situation.
Sure.
Because around that period,
Sure.
we don't know exactly election going to be 99, but it came in 99 after
Sure.
95. But around 98, we had this issue on PKR, Pakatan,
Yep.
Reformasi
Sure,
and all that
sure.
came into the picture. Now, he called me, he says, look, MKayveas, I can't organize a seat for you, but let me tell you something. I will make you a senator, I'll bring you into the cabinet, and then we will plan something for
Sure.
you. So it's after the 1999 election, he made me a senator, he made me a deputy minister. He called me, he said, look, your background, you are coming from Cameron Highlands, you went to school in Kuala Lumpur. So we'll split the Kuala Lumpur seat into two.
Sure.
And then it became Cameron and Lipis.
That's right.
And even that time, he gave me a small allocation to go and do some work with the Orang Asli.
Okay.
So I started work in the year 2000 with Cameron.
Okay.
In Cameron Highlands. But unfortunately, someone like Tun Mahathir who had plans for a leader. You know, there are only 5 of us. There are UMNO leader,
That's right.
Tun himself. Then you had Ling Leong Sek,
That's right.
Ling Leong Sek in MCA.
That's right.
You had Keng Ek for Gerakan.
Yep.
And
And
Tun
Samivelu.
Samivelu for
Yep.
MIC and PPP, it was me.
That's right.
So he already set this up. But in 2003, when he stepped down,
The whole game changed.
the whole game changed. And the 2004 election came, they refused to give me the Cameron seat. They sent me to a place where they expected me to lose. They sent me to Taiping.
That's right.
They wanted me to lose, actually, because I speak up, I voice out. So I become a controversial guy. You know, hey,
Yep.
why do you stay in the government and speak up? Today you run down your own government, isn't it?
I think it's a good thing. That's why I
We were
still
20
remember
years. We were 20 years ahead of time.
Sure.
In fact, many politicians, many leaders have told me. Even Tun himself have told me, "You are ahead of time. You speak too early." Yeah, because this is how it's going. Things
That's
are
right.
getting faster. You know. So when you don't get a chance and you get derailed, so you look and see. When 2004 I didn't get the seat, it's okay.
you. That's right.
Then after winning Taiping, they still didn't bring me into the cabinet. When the Tun Badawi, you know, when we asked why can't I get into the cabinet,
Sure.
why I must be deputy, you know, there are other component party leaders feel if you come to the cabinet, you know, they are not comfortable. Why
Sure.
is that so?
Sure.
But still, my loyalty, I stayed back.
Till today.
Till today, we left behind, but I must
That's
tell
right.
you
I mean,
that
till today you left behind, but is there loyalty to...
my loyalty is there always.
Okay.
In the sense that I gave you my word at that point of time, I continued, you know.
Sure.
Now, you look back again after that, 2008, okay? A lot of struggle. They said, we need to take back the seat, you cannot stand the seat and all that. The seat was such a mess. Of course, 2008, the decline of Barisan started.
That's right.
I gave an article in 2007 in the Age magazine. If you want, we can pass you a copy.
Sure.
I've already said Barisan Nasional is a failure as early as 2007.
Yep.
But I didn't leave BN. I stayed with BN to rectify, correct, and see where we can improve.
But was PPP strong enough to help rectify such a big mess?
PPP as a force may not be, but PPP as a party was in the right position. We were for all Malaysians.
That's right.
We don't want to have like a train going in a track on 3 different lanes, Malay, Chinese, Indian. We want to go into the same forward and future,
Sure.
but you can never join together. You know, why are we still talking about Malay, Indian, Chinese rights? We should be talking about Malaysian rights.
That's right.
That's what PPP. We want to talk about Malaysian rights. Let's talk about Malaysian. Don't have to come and say you choose between you are Malay first or Chinese first or Malaysian first or Indian first. Please, you got 2 eyes. You got 2 eyes. You cannot say you can choose one eyes and you don't want the other
Sure.
eyes. So live and when you are a citizen of a particular country, you must know what you're doing.
Sure.
And this is the country you love. You are here. You're born here. You want to die here. You want to stay here. Then let's talk about Malaysian rights. It's time.
So obviously it's shown very clearly that you were speaking out so much to the point where you were not getting anywhere.
You won't be accepted. You know why?
Yeah.
Because survival in politics is still race-based.
Of course.
You can see Tun.
Isn't that what it is? PPP right now is still very race-based.
We are not race-based. We are multiracial. We are all Malaysians.
Oh, I'm talking about PPP as in Parti Bersatu. It's
Oh,
still very
PBB, yeah,
it's
yeah,
still very
yeah.
much
Correct,
race-based
correct.
to be seen as that, because even Tun himself realizes that if he doesn't play that game, he's not going to be able to win.
So it is, you can see it's a political game. It is not really a game for the future of the country.
That's right. So your vision is too far ahead for what we want, but the problem is this.
Yeah.
If you don't ever get in position because your vision is too far,
You can't do anything.
You can't do anything anyways. So that's why...
So you look and see, after 2008 election, it comes to 2013.
That's right.
And you find Tun Badawi left and then Sri Najib come in,
Yeah.
who knows me 30 years.
Sure.
What does he do in the 2013? He comes and tells me, MKayveas no parliament seat for you.
Sure.
He, as the Prime Minister, cannot even organize one parliament seat out of 222 seats
Yep.
for one of the 5 presidents
Sure.
in Peninsular Malaysia
Sure.
of a component party.
Sure.
And what did I do for loyalty's sake?
You stayed on.
I stayed.
Yep.
I said, no seat, never mind.
Sure.
Then they sent me to Pasir Padama,
Sure.
where a state seat where the history shows that you cannot win the seat. You never won the seat, even before independent and after independent. Never won. I just went, why? That loyalty, that friendship, and I said, okay, it doesn't matter. The thing is, Barisan must win, and everything is fine, and I will give my support. Okay, that's 2013. By which time I'm already, now 2014, I'm already 60. And you come and tell me in 2014 election, after asking me to work back in Cameron Highlands because of all the controversy going on at MIC, and they threw their MP from MIC and they changed and all that. I go and work down there. After last minute, you come and say, no, there's no seat. And we had 5 seats. None of the seats were returned back to us.
Okay.
And they create a situation where the Secretary General of Barisan asked me to write a letter and say, okay, you say that you will require 1 seat, the rest of the seat you don't want. So I put it in writing. And that letter, you go and give it to members and say, look, man, your president is selfish fella. He gives away all the seat and he wants Cameron. But did you give Cameron? You didn't give. What did you do? Did you give back all the other seats because you didn't give Cameron? You didn't give. Finally, you didn't give anything. You made this an excuse, politics, and you told your own members to remove your president so that you can stay in BN and be a slave to BN and be a senator party, and the president can go. I tolerated, I stayed, I was loyal. Very important in politics. Loyalty is very, very important.
Even if they kill you in this manner, it's just like letting you die slowly, and you're still going to be loyal? I mean,
I've told this 5 years ago, in 2013 itself, I've informed the Sri Najib's chairman, and Tunku Adnan is also my friend, very close friend. I said, if you guys don't keep your word in the next election, 2014, and you don't give us 1 seat out of 222 seats, we have no alternative.
And that's why you're left.
My loyalty is tested because you don't have loyalty for us anymore. So that's why I said, okay, I leave. I said PPP can stay. I still want to leave because I thought I'll retire. I'm enough. You know, I've tried to do something. I couldn't do. I'm not there for position or post or for money or whatever.
Because you have your own money. I mean, you're a businessman.
I didn't have any dealing with the government all my life. I took my salary, that's it. I never had a contract tender. I recommended people who became millionaires, who made money out of government.
I should have been there earlier.
But I never did anything. I don't even have a grass cutting project with the government or a TOL land or anything. You can check.
You see, I find all this very interesting. Why? Because usually people like you who don't get anywhere in politics or in government because you want to do the right thing. And that's the reality.
That's why I said, no place for sincere politicians.
That's why my point is this. So you see, Tan Sri, how are you going to be able to really help the country if you don't play politics to then be able to control the policies to get it right?
Well, Ernie, I think now the people should wake up. The people should look at reality now. It is the people. It is the people who should now realize, let's forget about political parties, political-based coalition coming together to rampas kuasa or take the power. Look at individuals who can do something for the country. Look at individuals who can come together and see whether they can come and do something for the country.
So, since you brought this up, right, I want to ask you, who are those that you see that can come together with yourself at PPP to do something as a third force for the country moving forward?
Okay. I will answer you this question in my own way. I thought it's enough. My family have sacrificed. In fact, my wife has sacrificed the most.
I'm sure.
I've been one of the most useless husbands. And she sacrificed. My family children grew up so fast. They sacrificed. And I thought, okay, it's time. I leave everything. And when I decided to leave Barisan, and Barisan conspired with some of my friends who were with me to remove me and all that, I said, don't do all that. I'll give you a resignation letter. Which you can't be done. In the PPP constitution, you cannot remove a president or president cannot resign unless it's an AGM.
I see.
But I thought, okay, never mind. I give you a letter first, later you do an AGM. You can put a garland and say, hey, thank you, MKayveas, you've been there so long, you brought a dead party again. Very nice, you can remain advisor or whatever, you know. They didn't do that. Despite of me saying that, they went ahead on the media, they embarrassed me, they said they're sacking me because I become a bad guy, I'm a thief, I stole this, stole that, I got property all over the world, I am, you know, I have girlfriends, you know, if you're good looking, what can you do?
Hey, you dress well, look good, you know.
People like you. So, they try to tarnish the reputation. Yesterday, in fact, I replied one letter. I put a quotation there.
Sure.
By blowing somebody else's candle off, you can't shine brighter, you know.
That's
so
right.
You can't keep on saying, I'm a bad guy, and you suddenly become a good guy and you can be leader.
Yeah.
Leadership is not coming from destroying another leader,
Yes.
you know. So I gave this opportunity to them, they know. They want to remove my membership.
Sure.
I restarted PPP in 93 and I am 00001.
That's right.
That's my number. 0002, I gave it to my wife. Then everybody else had a selection of numbers when we started issuing membership cards
Sure.
for PPP. We have issued.
Yeah, the Malaysia Board records with the highest number of signing, right?
I signed every
Yeah,
card.
every single card.
578,000 cards I have signed, you know. And Malaysia Book of Records audited and
Sure.
then they gave us a record. You see, when we did all that and you want to take my membership away, and my level, someone like my level, I'm not going to walk away.
Sure, of course.
So immediately I withdraw the resignation. I fought them back. The party got registered. I took it back. It's now back to registration. And we did the election last year, 2018 to year 2023. I'm re-elected back as the president. Nothing can be done until then. Under Societies Act Section 18C, it's a decision of a political party. Whatever they can make noise, what they
Sure.
can do, illegally they can do nothing.
So
Now, sorry.
Sure.
I wanted to go off. I've been asked to come back to put the party.
Sure.
Then I see my friends in the political circle from Sabah, Sarawak, here locally, many of them calling me and said, hey, Tan Sri, why don't you come with us, stay with us.
Sure.
Let's look at this third force thing.
Sure.
I said it's still too early. Give this Pakatan another chance.
Sure.
Let them, you can't just decide in one term.
Less
and,
than 2 years, right? You can't even do it much
Give
yet.
them a chance, let's see. But we can create a different political scenario with politicians who are sincere without any other motive.
Sure.
And politicians who really have the guts,
Okay.
Now I see, I'm so disappointed with some of them.
Shut up, right?
When I was sitting on this side
Sure.
with Tun one time, when the whole lot was sitting on the other side and making noise against Tun and all of us, today they are sitting on this side with Tun and they're keeping quiet.
Yep, every single one of them.
And you find these people who are on this side who are sitting on the other side are trying to make the noise.
Sure.
So you see, when the power comes to you, you yourself become a mouse. People like me not wanted because when the power comes to me, that's when I speak up. That's when I want to put things in order. I spoke about corruption of local government.
Sure.
I branded local government as a secret society because you don't know what they were doing.
That's right.
And I become a bad guy. You correct one situation, you are a bad guy.
Yep.
We spoke about things like CITOS,
Yep.
were not fair. I
Yep.
get sued.
Sure.
So many issues we brought up, senior citizens. Even 15 years ago, there were about 3 million single mothers. How was the government looking at it? You look at the homes, how many homes everywhere? Homes for, children, unwanted children. So many homes. How do you regulate them?
That's right.
There are so many things to do.
You obviously still very passionate in what you believe in. So my question is, why are you not then putting together another pakatan or another barisan that you feel that you could lead and champion to then go into the next election to become the third force, not just so much on taking over per se, but becoming a much stronger force to then tell Pakatan boys, hey, you better be doing something, because the people have eyes, they're not stupid. They're going to have all these online platform channels. It's going to be bringing up in the next 3 years, and it's going to be taking you down. So, wouldn't that be better for the country?
I will look at it in a different way. I will look at it, of course, Barisan wants to come back because they're all in a lot of problem. They want to get out of the problem.
Yep. That's no secret, right?
That will be their priority than putting the country back in order because you give them back the power, I don't think things are going to change.
I think everybody knows that.
Yeah. You look at Pakatan, promises made, they keep running all the videos on promises made. We are the government, we will do this, do that, but then they couldn't do.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I do sometimes when we say things, we don't realize it.
Sure.
They come out and admit and they say, we didn't realize we are going to win.
Yep.
We made promises which we cannot do. I think those statements hurt a lot of people, because people look at it as trust.
Yeah, sure.
I trusted you.
Sure.
So, as I say earlier, in politics is two things,
Sure.
loyalty and trust.
Sure.
If you don't have these two,
Sure.
you're gone. Now, for me to come back in the sense to group up people, I look at it this way. As you gave me a choice, family and friends.
Sure.
It's again friends. Friends who are close to you, that's another thing.
Sure.
But you form a group of friends to think that you're going to do in future something, that's another thing. Will these people be genuine friends who will stay for the cause? Perjuangan, will they wait for the perjuangan?
Sure.
Or they have their own motive? They want position and power. Are they there for the perjuangan? So for me to go and now say, hey, let's all get together, a group of us, you can never get sincere, honest people with the real intention of doing something for the country.
So I don't think you will ever become a very good politician, Tan Sri, because you are definitely a good person
I have never-
with the right cause. But the politicians' bottom line is about what you just said, perjuangan to get there, whatever it takes to get there.
I can never be a good politician.
Sure.
Because a good politician will know how to get what he wants and survive. But here, politicians who knew how to get what they want, but they didn't know how to survive.
Yeah,
I survived because I did nothing of that sort.
sure.
I did no evil, I did no crime, I didn't take anything which doesn't belong to me, or I wasn't greedy for anything.
Which is why you're still walking with your chest held
yeah.
high. That's the whole idea, is it?
I come from the estate poor background and I'm still estate boy. I lived 20 years in the squatter. I'm
Yep.
from Kampung Pandan. I
Sure,
went to
sure.
Seri school.
Yep.
You know, we grew in tough life.
Sure.
That's my background.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change it for anything and I'm not going to go and take something that doesn't belong to me.
Sure.
Of course, when you are in this position, you look at all great leaders.
Sure.
They are accused of,
You,
that's the only way to bring them down.
sure, of course.
The only way to bring down good people is to accuse of something which is not there or throw some things and give a perception that these guys are bad.
But the reality of the mass Malaysian market, or the world market, people only believe what they hear, what they see. They do
Yeah.
not understand what really goes on. And that's why you're here.
All of them have coins in their pocket, but they only look at one side of the coin. They never look at two sides.
Yeah.
The coins have got two sides.
Because the power of the media.
Yeah. So for me now, it's better to remain loose
Okay.
and to see who is seriously, sincerely interested in doing something for the country.
Sure.
And with this 18 years old and above can vote now, the scenario is different.
Sure.
There's a big gap.
Sure.
What the youngsters want, when you suddenly have a country like Finland, have people
Yeah,
in
we
the
have
30s,
30 Prime Minister, right?
in the cabinet.
Female.
So things have changed, but we are not that advanced or developed country to see that.
Sure.
We have a lot of barriers. We have language barrier, we have a religious barrier,
Yep.
we have
Race.
so many things.
Sure.
We have to overcome all that. But the mindset of the Malaysians must become that, hey, I must think for Malaysians and Malaysian rights.
Sure.
We must change our attitude to be nice to each other.
Sure.
We must look at how to progress this country in a way where everybody benefits. There's no losers and those
Sure.
no winners. Like they say, you cannot satisfy everybody.
Sure.
At the same time, you cannot give everything to everybody. So you have to have a kind of a positioning of people who can have that kind of a mindset who will agree to this.
Sure.
You have a Pakatan Harapan now, very unfortunately, still they are talking about their own community and
Yep.
what they want to do. None of them are still talking about Malaysian rights.
I don't think everyone is big enough wing that hard, because everyone has an agenda of their own.
Survival because of where they come from.
Sure.
So people like us, when you are multiracial, that's why 20 years ago I offered a partnership with Gerakan.
Sure.
I said, you are Chinese-based, we are seen as Indian-based,
Yep.
let's merge,
Yeah.
all right? And I also gave an opportunity to all the other 13 components in Barisan Nasional. Let's form a caucus.
Sure.
Let's have one voice against UMNO.
Sure.
We don't come out and speak, because when you split and rule, very easy to deal with you.
But that's always the way to win, is divide and rule. I mean, that's the most fundamental way in politics, where you want to play politics, you divide and rule. And that's where I think you fail as the politician, as you say.
I will forever fail
Sure.
if I believed in an ideal situation and everything can be ideal. I will forever fail. Not only me, anyone will fail.
Anyone will fail as a
Anyone will
politician.
fail, yeah.
So, do you ever see that this stand of yours, your stand will change so that you can get in power to do some real changes?
I will never change my character and my principles.
Sure.
Whatever people can say about me, I know myself.
Sure.
I know what I do. I know what I can do. I can do many things for this country. I'm not asking to be in power to do it. You can
Sure.
just give me a position to do it.
Sure.
All right? You don't even have to give me a salary. You can just give me 4 meals a day or a place to stay and a vehicle to move around.
Sure.
That's sufficient for me. I can do it. Example. You look at now PTPTN loans.
Sure.
All right? So many controversy.
I'm the one who raised a lot of these issues too.
I have a solution where that every student who take the money will be able to pay back.
How?
I have the solution.
You have the solution, but they have to put you in power then.
They have to put me in the position to do it. I can't just tell you and somebody else try it and they fail it and they say, no, KVS idea doesn't work because you don't know what. I'm the sifu of the idea. You can't put somebody else and say, he's going to do it, he will do it for you.
So are you saying that you'll be the best choice for the Minister of Education position?
No. I will definitely not be the best choice for Minister of Education position.
It's a very important portfolio.
As I've read about you, yourself, Ernie Chen, you are one good example of a person who believed in the right education, and you quote and unquote, and you have said it.
Yes.
Malaysian education system is a failure.
Yes, it
you
is.
have said it.
Yes, it is.
And you said yourself that the right education, that's what we need to bring out the right kind of people and talents in this world and this country. And that way, I won't fit definitely into it, because when you make radical changes, it's not accepted.
Always that way.
People don't want changes to take place immediately. They want a slow change, by which time it's too late.
Yep.
We in Malaysia have gone in wrong directions because of the way politics have set us in.
Yes.
To bring back into the right direction, it is not a difficult thing. Nothing is impossible.
Sure.
But the minds of the Malaysians must be, first, let me think of Malaysian rights. Let me be a Malaysian in my heart and mind, and let me see how we can progress together. Rather than I always worry about me, my community, and my religion. That's it.
Since you mentioned leadership, when we're going the wrong direction, is this the fault of our fourth and our seventh Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir? Because it's all leadership. It's all a one-man decision as to how it's supposed to be moving forward. Is he selecting the leaders? I mean, he always says that he selects the wrong leaders. But if you're not putting the right leaders, how will it ever go? I mean, you are a good example. They did not put you in place. Is it because you're going to be too threatening to potentially become the first Prime Minister who is not Malay?
Wow, I like that.
I mean, from that perspective, I mean, we have Barack Obama, who is African American. Anything's possible,
I'll
right?
make a good PM, you know. Let me
There
tell
you go. So why don't
make
we?
a very fair and good PM. You know?
That's the whole idea. I mean, I believe that anything's possible. You know, anything is possible. Meaning to say that it doesn't matter if it's a Chinese, Indian, or whatever it may be. Bottom line, if you're Malaysian, shouldn't that anyone be wanting to do that? I think it starts with you wanting to claim that. With that smile, I believe that there is that inkling thinking that, hey, you know what? Why not? You know, we're going to be thinking we must think bigger and big dreams. And you know what? This is probably the first show. If you're just joining us watching the Ernie Chen Show live, this is the first time you will see MKayveas saying that, you know what? Hey, I'll make a good Prime Minister. Why not? You know, anything is possible. And you heard it here first on the Ernie Chen Show live.
Wow.
Would that be a great?
Why not?
Why not,
Why
right?
not? Nothing wrong.
Yes.
Nothing wrong.
So
if I can do something good for the country, why not?
There you
Nothing
go.
wrong.
So why not then do we have this? There's no way PPP is going to be able to do that alone and you'll be able to do it alone. You need what I've learned in politics and to see all my friends getting up there and this. If you can become an independent, you're no way going to get there. You guys can become a party, no way you're going to get there. You got to have a pakatan. You got to have a barisan. Whichever it may be. Could it be barisan PPP, barisan, whatever it may be. Who are those parties that I'm sure you are really talking to that would be the next? Because it's a great time. This is probably the best opportunity ever where Barisan is trying to come back in, Pakatan is trying to hold on to the fort, and the third force potentially will be able to shake up the whole entire environment. I think you're seeing that too. So, yes, why not, you know?
I have identified a group of people actually.
Sure.
I can't mention the names here because they themselves don't know I've identified them. Because many people are still asking me to be there, at least play an advisory role. You know, I'm not really keen in going and contesting and, you know, going and working under another parliament and all that. I would like to go back to Cameron and still continue my work without thinking of standing for election. I want to tell them that I'm sincere. I'm not coming there for position. I still want to. Because I have origin from Cameron, my whole family starts from Cameron, my great-grandfather. So I would like to go there and do some work, not because I want to be a candidate there. But be that it may, I've been asked to play some advisory role. Of course I can play. Then end of the day, when you play advisory role, then you yourself cannot fit into any position. You put up the whole thing and you get thrown out. And then the whole thing is not what you set out to do. Something else is going on. If you look at Pakatan, that's what happened. When they came together to take the country away from Barisan Nasional, they never had plans of Tun Mahathir being the PM.
That's right.
Suddenly you had Tun being the PM, and then you see it's going in a different direction. Because they themselves are not united.
Sure.
So bringing friends together or bringing people together and then becoming friends is the biggest risk I have learned in politics.
Sure.
Because I also don't agree with this word in politics. There's no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. I also don't agree with that.
Okay.
You need permanent friends. You need friends to stand with you like family in thick and thin.
Sure.
To see that you complete the journey you set out to do. If you have people always want to derail because they want the position,
Yeah.
then nothing can be achieved.
But that's the reality in politics.
Yeah, we have to come out of certain realities,
Sure.
certain conventions, certain practices. We have to come out of this, you know. We always come to say that, I still remember
Sure.
about 15 years ago, I was telling one of the, 15 or maybe 10 years back, I told one of the transport ministers, look, we're having this traffic jam, you know. Let's try out fast lane in this country.
Sure.
We should try out fast
Yeah,
lane, especially federal highway.
Yeah.
We should try a fast
Yeah.
lane. Road hogging is serious in
Yeah.
this country. You know what his answer to me? Oh, Malaysian mindset, you know, you cannot change them. So you as a minister, you yourself don't want to try it out.
Sure.
You yourself don't want to change and give a try to that. How can the Malaysians change? So we have this problem of everybody. You can take Brickfields, if you pass through Brickfields, a good example.
Sure.
The DBKL is trying priorities. It's
That's right.
nothing to do with the traffic. It's nothing to do with the DBKL and the poor staff standing in the sun trying to
Yep.
summon people towing the cars. But the attitude of the people.
Yep. Yep.
You give one space for parking,
Yep.
they still do a double parking.
Yep.
You give two space for parking, they do three. They block the people.
Yep.
So the other person who is moving, he complains.
Yep.
So Malaysians have got this mindset, laws, rules, regulation are for others, not for them.
That's right.
We have to come out of this.
I think on that note, you have actually stated very clearly. Obviously, it shows me by the way you answer, you're definitely a man on the ground who listens and observes and knows what's happening, right? You know, this is probably one of my longest show ever. Has passed the half an hour mark. And for those of you who are here, that's the reason why, you know, because we're interesting characters, interesting personalities, with a lot of content to share is always good. You've been watching the Ernie Chen show. I hope you've been sharing the whole entire show over here. No worries. Potentially you're watching on the future Prime Minister or definitely someone in power. You saw it and heard it here first, right? Anything is possible. You say it yourself, right? Anything is possible.
Sky is no longer the limit.
There you go. I think we need people who wants to speak up and voice up and to be able to share their opinion, just like how I always speak up, because the Ernie Chen is about inviting people who's willing to share, take the risk, and at the end of the day, hey, who knows? Anything is possible, anything can happen and
Speak your
will
mind,
happen.
anyway.
Speak your mind. Hey, it may take a little bit longer, you may get in trouble once in a while, but that's exactly why people will listen to you. I think we need a lot more people like MKayveas. I mean, the media, mainstream media will probably never let him be on the show, and that's why he's on the Ernie Chen show. Because why? This is where you're allowed to speak up and say what you want, and they won't censor you, and that's the future. And I believe if we have more people like MKayveas over here, you heard it first over here, right from his mouth. He didn't flinch. By the way, I'm a body language expert over here. If he lied, I would know, right? And that's the reason why he's sitting over here. You see, the whole idea is this. Sometimes we need to be able to talk to the people and listen to them directly from their mouth. A lot of us here always listen to what people want us to believe and see. So you heard it and you saw it here on the Ernie Chen Show Live. I'm very grateful and thankful to MKayveas for coming on my show over here. And definitely as we get closer to the next GE16, right? Coming up, we'll be able to have him back over here. First, 15, next GE15, in person to come back to share with you his stories and his plans for Malaysia. And for those of you interested to get in touch with him, I'm sure you can get in touch with his Facebook, with his contacts, and be part of PPP.
Instagram,
Twitter,
I'm
Instagram.
everywhere.
He's everywhere on social media. You'll be able to look at the well-dressed man over here who is more than happy to shake your hands and also be able to share more with you also. Thank you very much for watching. For another show coming up next year, and this is also the final show for 21-9. We are very grateful to close off in a very big way. We'll start off 2020 with Wong Chui Ling, a very famous celebrity from Hong Kong who has come to Malaysia. So with that, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. MKayveas, thank you once again for being on the show.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Thank you, we've been
God bless
fortunate.
you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
Thank you. We'll see you next year. Peace.